you want crazy aim like this, at all. Well, if you do, all you need to do is follow these 12 tips and tricks that will give you guys better aim today on Warzone 2 and Ashika Island. Every single one of these tips and tricks will work on controller as well as keyboard and mouse, and I am positive that they will take your aim from average to absolute pro. Tip 1 is warm up before you guys get into games. I want you guys just to pay attention on the screen. I do this before every single one of my streams. I go to a private match on MW2. I make sure to put the settings to where I want them. I usually do an unlimited score with a 10-minute game. That is pretty much perfect for me. I put the health up to 150 just to give it more of a Warzone feel, and I put it on team deathmatch on the smallest map in the entire game, and I do a 1v6 against a team full of recruit bots. This helps me so much because I really don't like hopping into the games cold, especially being on keyboard and mouse. If you guys are on controller, you can do this and maybe turn off your aim assist, so once you get into the game, your aim assist can feel even more sticky than it already is. A lot of my controller homies already do this, and they told me that it works wonders for them, and this is something that I've been doing since Warzone 1. Warming up is a vital part for me, and that's why it is the first thing on my list. Number 2 is aim train, and there is 2 types of aim training that I want to talk about. There is eye aim training, and normal aim training is what I've always preached before in my videos. Arm aim training and regular aim training is something that I've been doing for a while now. You can do that on anything. You can do that on mouse and keyboard and controller just to get a better feel and get better mechanics overall, but you can also aim train your eyes. There's a video by the homie Otter that he has on his YouTube page that is an eye aim training. Eye aim training is something that has been very important to me for the past like month and a half, only because I always wanted to get better at finding targets with my eyes before anything. Your hands cannot hit what your eyes can't see, and learning how to focus on a target and swap targets with your eyes is just as important as doing it with your hands, and that's why it is tip number 2. Tip number 3 is hip fire and ADS change up. Now, making sure when somebody is very, very close to you that you hit fire as much as you possibly can, no matter what gun you use, is very important in Warzone 2 and much more important than it was in Warzone 1. I feel like in Warzone 1 you can get away with aiming down sight when somebody's close to you, but as you see in these clips that I have on your screen now, hip firing saved my lives more times than not. Going from aiming down sight and going to hip firing has won me a lot more gunfights than I thought it would, even if I am using a heavier gun like an AR. Tip number 4 is crosshair placement. Now, if you guys have ever played Valorant, CSGO, Rainbow Six Siege, or any tactical shooters like that, I'm sure you know what crosshair placement is. Crosshair placement is very important to winning gunfights, especially since the time to kill in Warzone 2 is as fast as we have ever had it. Making sure that your crosshair is always where you expect somebody and not on the ground looting is very important. Now, of course, you have to loot when the game first starts, but once you have your guns, once you have all of the loot that you really need, making sure that your crosshair is up, aim around the chest area is important, because you never want to get snuck up on, especially due to the lack of footsteps that we all know that people have been dealing with. Crosshair placement is important no matter what game you play. Now, tip number 5 is aiming for the upper chest when you are actually shooting it in gunfights. If you aim for the upper chest, you will win a lot more gunfights than you think. One, because if you flinch up, you have a chance of hitting headshots, and the headshot multiplier in Warzone 2 is insane, and the upper chest and the shoulders is the widest part on the body models in Warzone 2, so that is the best place to aim. It helps your aim out a lot, and obviously if you are using something like a sniper rifle or a marksman rifle, you do want to aim for the head, because the headshot damage that you get for those guns is really good. But if you are using an SMG, AR, LMG, the upper chest is the money spot, which I found to win more gunfights. Tip number 6 is, if you have a loadout, make sure that you go to the firing range and you learn how it shoots and learn how it moves based on the way you built it. Everybody's loadouts is different unless everybody is using the same meta loadout, but now that you have tuning and things like that, you can make your gun unique to how you want to play. Going into the firing range is a great way to learn how your gun feels, how fast it moves, the recoil for it, and everything in between. So making sure that if you are going into the game and you know that you want to get your loadout, getting that practice in the firing range before every game, even if you have to, if you constantly switch up your loadout, is very important. It will help you win more gunfights and hit more shots, because the more shots you hit, trust me, the more gunfights you'll win. Tip number 7 may not apply to everybody, but it does apply to people who record their gameplays, and I believe that watching back your gameplay is very vital. You guys can watch back your gameplay and you can see if you're tracking to the right is weaker than you're tracking to the left. You can see when you're over flicking or when you're under flicking, or you can see a lot of different things, especially if you watch things back in slow motion. I watch back my gameplays all the time, and it helps me with my aim. It helps me change up a few things, and it allows me to hone in on things that I'm really lacking and make those weaknesses strengths and makes my strengths even stronger than they were before. So watching back your gameplays is always a great thing to do, especially if you want to get better at something like Warzone 2 and get more high kill games on Ashika Island. All right, now tip number 8 is for people who have no way to watch their own gameplays back, but I think that watching your favorite streamers with great aim and emulating what they do is key. Maybe take their settings, a setting here, a setting there, but making sure that you're trying to take as much away from what they do as possible. There's a lot of great keyboard and mouse aimers, and there's a lot of great controller aimers that you guys can watch and get things from them that you may not know how to do and learn how to do it yourself. It's nothing like being able to have an example right in front of you and doing what they do to make your aim better. That is the exact thing I did. Default strafe. A lot of those people who I watched early on when I first started on keyboard and mouse helped my aim out tremendously, and trust me, it'll help yours out as well. This is why even to this day I react to people, because I'm still learning and still trying to get better every single time I get on the game. Tip number 9 is being patient when shooting, especially if you're running up on a full team. Now let's say you are running up on a full team and you see 4 and you know you are the only one alive. That first shot that you take is the most important shot of everything, because if you shoot at somebody and you don't get the down, it could literally make 4 people have to push you at once, and that's not what you want. Making sure that when you see the first person, you get that initial down, maybe even a finish, can help you out tremendously, because you can turn a 1v4 into a 1v3, maybe even a 1v2 if one of the other teammates has to go on res, and now you're in a whole different ball game. So being patient and precise is very beneficial to you in the long run, because you don't have to worry about a full team pushing up on you. And if you end up missing and rushing and missing your shots, now you're in a whole different scenario and you have to fight for your life even harder than you would have if you didn't. Tip number 10 is using a lower sensitivity. Now I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of fast sense demons out there, and if you're comfortable using faster sensitivity, then by all means use that. But from my experience, a more medium speed to low speed sensitivity is the key to good precision and accuracy. Look at people on keyboard and mouse like Huskers. His sensitivity has always really been slow, and he is known as one of the best keyboard and mouse players on all of Warzone. Also default, I know he uses a very low sensitivity as well, and his aim is absolutely robotic. And then if you look at Call of Duty pros, a lot of the pro players' sensitivity is really slow, because they are really focused on winning their 1v1 gunfights when they get into them and making sure they're getting those picks and trades and things of that nature. So I think the same thing definitely applies to Warzone as well. If you are already comfortable on a high sensitivity, then I don't really think you should change it. But if you do feel that your aim could take another 2-3 steps above where it is currently, then maybe changing that sensitivity, making it a little lower, can definitely help your aim more in the long run. Tip number 11 is making sure that you are using what's comfortable for you. Now when it comes to loadouts, different sites can definitely make or break the way that you aim and how good and comfortable your guns feel. Using what is comfortable for you, you may like a site that I don't like, I may like a site that you don't like, a reticle that you think is good, I may think is bad, but making sure that you are using what is the most comfortable for you will allow you to make sure that your aim stays where you want it and even continue to bring it higher than it already is. If you don't like what you're using, you're not going to feel comfortable, and me personally, I cannot aim if I am not comfortable with the guns that I'm using, the sights that I'm using, or anything like that. So making sure that you are as comfortable as possible with and using what you want to use is tip number 11. Now the last tip that is going to take everything and put it all into one big thing is to take more gunfights. You are playing Resurgence, so there is no reason why you feel like you have to huddle next to your teammate and camp and stay in the same area. But the simple fact that you can continue to come back and continue to fight and take as many gunfights as you possibly can. Resurgence is like a big team deathmatch on a BR style map, and you can continue to go. Don't worry about your KD, don't worry about anything like that, but the more gunfights you take, the more confidence you will build within yourself, because after a certain while you'll start winning the gunfights you used to lose, and at that point now you're even better than you've ever been. So making sure that you're taking more gunfights is my last tip. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you found anything helpful in this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Also, let me know what other tips and tricks you guys may have for your personal aim that you do down in the comment section below. I love you guys. This is your boy Robin. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.